Well, I just heard this story about a kid who was getting arrested for peeing in a water cooler, and she said, well, whatever happened to mischief? And it all clicked. I was like, yeah, middle class, rich kids get mischief. Our kids get pathologized and criminalized.
But he just threw a whole girl across the classroom. How can you mind your business? That's something you need to make your business.
More and more people are stepping up to say we have to end mass incarceration. That, of course, it starts well before you get to prison. And it's sort of unfair to blame schools and teachers because it's really an outgrowth of what the nature of poverty is in America now.
It was the first time that any police chief in any city where I visit or where I was arrested in the 60s ever apologized, or where I was beaten. It was a moment of grace.
Bringing forward what many of us, most of your viewers, have seen since Ferguson, which is videos of, in this case, both men and girls being mishandled or killed or beaten by police officers. And putting that right in front of the audience, trying to move their hearts and minds, which is what we do in the theater, to move towards, an invitation to hop on board what I believe is a new civil rights movement. I've been audacious enough to try to become America word for word and put myself in people's words the way you think about putting yourself in other people's shoes. And so that's sort of like, that's how I roll, is trying to learn as much about this country as I can in my lifetime.
This ain't no racist thing. I don't see no racist thing come into play. It's a hatred thing. They hate, you feel me? Like, I mean, if you can't find nothing on me, what's the whole point of you locking me up or beating me up for no reason?
My challenge when I sit across from Alan, and he seems so very, very different and even foreign, even though we're both African American, we're both from Baltimore. Wow, to have to work very hard to get as close as I can. But that's my challenge, and I actually love that, and I love him. But more and more and more, I struggle to learn what he is communicating.
Mm-hmm. And what was it about him that made that you felt like there was a little bit of distance there initially?
Oh, he didn't want to talk. We were in his lawyer's office. His parents were there for a long time. He was looking out the window. And I just thought, I'm never going to get this kid to talk. But I got him to talk ultimately.
Wow. Many of the issues that you're talking about have now become part of the national conversation. Mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline. But we're in a new political season, and we have a new president-elect, and there are lots of concerns that some of the acknowledgement and maybe even some of the policies about these issues may be rolled back. Do you see that perhaps affecting any of the change or the work?
I don't have a crystal ball about that, but I'll steal a word from Gloria Steinem. I'm a hopeaholic, and I understand that hope is very different from optimism. Cornel West taught me that. The optimists are the people who go, it looks pretty good, let's move. But the hope people are the ones who go, looks awful, we're going to go anyway. And we're going to use our ability to get people excited, and we're going to use faith in all kinds of faith to get where we need to go. And so I believe in the dignity of struggle, and I'm interested in struggle and what we learn from it. So I don't know what's going to happen in politics, but I really believe that this is going to be a very robust time in terms of art and culture.
Members of the media have been accused of living in a bubble. Those of us who are in the Northeast, we're media elites and we live in a bubble. How do you get the message that you're trying to get across in this work beyond the coasts, out to other folks?
I think that's a good question. You could say, are you preaching to the choir? And what I say to that is, we need choir rehearsal more than ever before. That's number one. A principal from the South Bronx brought a bunch of kids from her school, and they were asked afterwards if they felt they were in the school to prison pipeline. So first answer was yes. And then one of them said, no, there's holes in the pipeline. And we got out. And then another one said, but the holes could be plugged up. So just this way that, young people are really thinking. And my friend and former colleague, Pedro Noguera, big name in education, was at NYU, now is at UCLA, believes that there's a lot of potential for activism in high schools. And I believe that too.